What's up, guys? Brad here. So today I want to talk about Boeing stock. Okay, is Boeing a good stock to buy now? Now, Boeing has been on my radar for a while. It had a massive fall. It was up in the mid 350s in February, and it plunged to about $89 in March. Now, Michael Burry, you guys remember Michael Burry from the movie The Big Short, shorted the housing market back in 2008, made a killing. He added Boeing to his portfolio for the first time in the first quarter of 2020. Now, he added about $9 million worth of Boeing, which for his portfolio, it's one of his top 6 positions at about 10% of the portfolio. Okay. Now, also, Aswath Damadran, who's a professor that I follow out of NYU Stern, he teaches business valuation at New York University. He valued Boeing back in March. Okay. Now, whenever he does a valuation, I am all ears because they are so elaborate. He's been doing this for almost 40 years. He's written textbooks on valuation. And I'll link to his valuation video in the description. But so I kind of took his valuation and I gave it a little update because we have numbers that have been released for Boeing that Damadran didn't have when he did his valuation back in March. So the valuation that he came up with was around $139 per share. Boeing did add a little bit of debt since then. So the value I came up with was $130 per share for Boeing stock. Okay, that's the value I came up with. Now the price now is about $120. So, not super compelling, like an 8 or 9% discount. Burry, if Michael Burry bought at the bottom in March, he could have picked it up around $90 per share. Okay. That's a 25% discount. No, it's more than that. 130 to 90, it's about a 32% discount that he could have picked that up at. So, once you get to about a third off, like a 33% discount, a stock starts to get interesting for me. I love if I can pick it up for half price. But if I can get it for, 66, 67% of value, I get pretty interested at that price. So Boeing is definitely on my watch list now, especially considering just 3 months ago, it was up at $350 per share. It's almost a third of that now at 120. Now, I don't put a lot of stock in that, pun intended. I don't really care how high a stock was trading before because it may have just been, priced in the clouds. That happens with companies. I didn't value it back, in February. I looked at the valuation in March, and obviously a lot had changed in the airline sector. Because we were well into the pandemic in March, but at least the end of March. So, value, I have it at 130. If it starts to dip below, I'd say it probably has to dip below 90 for me to start getting interested, but it's definitely on my watch list. And if it does go below 90, I'm going to be doing a more in-depth dive on sort of a current valuation whenever that happens, if that does happen, if it dips below 90. But this is another stock that came to my attention as a result of the 13F filings. Every quarter we get to see what the best investors in the world have bought in the last quarter. And Michael Burry showed up on that list. He bought Facebook, which I thought was interesting. There's actually a number of great investors who picked up some Facebook in the first quarter of 2020, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think it was down like 160. But I'll make a video about Facebook in the future. But I just wanted to bring Boeing to your attention and mention the in-depth valuation from Aswath Damodaran, which I will link, and the fact that Michael Burry, the Big Short fame, has bought Boeing stock. So when I see that an investor has bought a stock, I like to assume that they got it at the low, okay? Because we don't know. We only know that they bought it, between January 1st and March 31st. So I'm assuming he bought around $90 per share. And the more you know about these investors and their investment style, the more you can kind of get a sense for what they think it's worth based on at what price they bought in. And you can't apply this to all investors, obviously. Some investors will buy a position merely as a hedge for another position. But when you get into the concentrated value investors, it's more predictable. When they buy in, you assume they buy in at the low price for that quarter. You have some degree of certainty that they're seeing a fairly large margin of safety in the stock that they bought. It really piqued my interest about Boeing stock. So I'm going to keep watching that. If any of you guys have thoughts on Boeing, if you've bought recently, if it's on your watch list, let me know, what you're waiting for. If there's a target price you're waiting to hit with before you pull the trigger on Boeing, and what you see as the strong value proposition in Boeing moving forward. I'm curious to hear from you on those things. So that's all I got, guys. Valued at 130. I'm waiting for it to get back down to 90 before I do a deeper dive. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Smash that thumbs up if you like these stock valuation videos. And let me know if you want a link to my valuation template, simple discounted cash flow valuation template. I'd be happy to share that with you guys. Just leave a comment and let me know, and I'll throw a link to my template in the description. Okay, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.